And welcome to Tearcast 38. My name is Heri Johansson. I am the singer and one of two guitarists of the Faroese heavy metal band Tear, and I am coming to you from Mivaur in the Faroe Islands.
Hello, Gons, and I'm the bassist in Tear, and I'm in Mivaur, Faroe Islands.
Hello, Hans. I am the guitarist number 2 in the metal band Tour, and I am currently located in Odense, Denmark.
Hello, this is Todd from Tuir. I'm the drummer in the magnificent Faroese heavy metal band Tuir, and I am talking to you from Sopron in Hungary right now.
This is the first episode of our 6th season, How Time Flies. We put this little podcast of ours on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google, and Buzzsprout. You can get early access to it on patreon.com/tearband, where you also have access to some extra exclusive material. Now, gentlemen, we just finished 2 immense tours. How are you feeling?
Exhausted.
Useless.
Sick.
I was thinking about it, and I felt like I'd been fought over by a bear, a gorilla, and a bull while under general anesthesia.
Hey, but at least you had anesthesia.
Well, not anymore. I wish I could go back. It's pretty hard. I think especially the US part of the tour, once you get out of the bus and through all the traveling back home, you just feel like you've been in a dryer machine, the tumbler.
Yes, that was a brutal travel day back home, or travel days.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Also, the general travel in the US, I think, looking back, was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
It was super bumpy, yes. Very much so. I think the most intense ride we had so far, I mean, all of us regularly woke up mid-air at 3 a.m. because it was so bumpy.
Yeah, suspension is probably a town in China or something. I don't know.
On that particular kind of bus, yes. It's very, very hard to get consistent good sleep.
So not gonna do that again.
No. But there are other kinds of buses. This was
Luckily
cheaper. We call it a B market tour, not to make those people in those towns feel any less worth, but this was a cheaper production, and the bus is also cheaper, and I would say we could feel that. Apart from that, I would say the tour was absolutely excellent. Played for a lot of people for the second time in a very short time, and also for most people for the first time in a long time, since we went to cities we haven't visited in a long time. Salt Lake City, Denver that we missed last time, and some other places. So the music part and the financial part, I would say, was a resounding success.
came to some interesting cities as well, like Corpus Christi, which I thought was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, never even heard of it before.
Albuquerque.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah.
And the off day, where was that? Salina in Utah.
Salina in Utah. Yeah.
Salina, Utah. That was I like those off days. Reminded me of the one in Canada on the second last run.
Oh, yes.
Went jogging.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where was that? Anyway.
I actually remember that place, but it has a funny name. I remember that much. It sounds almost like a cereal.
Yeah, it was some kind of resort.
Kamloops. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. The cereal Kamloops. So those days are nice when you have good circumstances. So the one good thing on these kind of buses that we had this time is that there's a shower, and having access to a shower every day mostly is a very good thing. Only there were some issues with this one.
Yeah.
But you get what you pay for. Can't complain.
And I mean, just to get back to the musical part of the tour, I mean, we've never been as tight as we've been on these shows. It's really, I mean, you can really feel it already.
At least towards the end of it. So to talk about the European part, we had a proper pre-production for the entire show, and it was pretty tight. But we had 2 off days, no time for any pre-production for the second part of the tour in America, and we added a few songs for that because that show was longer. And so on the start of the US tour, I thought there were some things that I wasn't really satisfied with my own performance. But towards the end of the tour, I thought it was really coming together pretty well.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, the acoustic songs. I mean, it's we should keep doing that. It appeared that the people really liked it and really enjoyed it, and me personally as well. So
yeah. You and your reindeer machine.
Yeah, I might just add a little more, things that do all kinds of weird sounds.
Yeah. the clown horn.
Yeah, maybe one of the blow up hammers with the speaker in it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, musically, everything was nice about it. We had good people with us. Our tour manager and sound guy Alexei, and Mickey, the guitar tech and stage tech. Just everything went.
Yeah.
Nothing to complain about. No issues of any kind. Which is the kind of tours we like.
Yes.
And we had many of those lately. It's a long time ago since we had a real close to terminal issue on any tour, isn't it?
Yes.
Which
I would say for the only sad thing about this tour was I got the flu halfway through the US tour, and it's still with me now. That was a little bit sad because it takes the joy out of everything.
Mm-hmm.
But we all had the flu.
Yeah. Already in Europe, I got a very severe flu.
Yeah, I escaped it in Europe.
2 weeks in. But it's almost impossible to avoid. You meet so many people, you shake so many people's hands, you talk to so many people. Plus, that, and not just you, everyone on tour does that. So, and then you're around the other people on tour. So even though you hide away, it doesn't really help because someone else on tour is gonna meet someone who has the flu.
Plus, I guess the bad air conditioning in the buses as well does not do it much better.
It's really almost unavoidable to especially during winter touring that you get something, because I mean, being on the bus for 10, 16 hours a day with 10, 20 people, I mean, it's just absolute perfect conditions for a virus to thrive.
So I don't think we've been on one tour where we didn't get the flu. I mean, it just happens every time, and you should expect it. Mm-hmm. If you're in good shape physically, for singing and playing, it doesn't ruin the show. It has to be very bad before it does that.
I haven't had the flu for years, but I do remember some tours early on that we again were cramped into a bus where it started to go around, and eventually you got it too. So
so I got the flu, or at least a cold plus 2 flus, like 3 times on both tours. Yeah, what can you do? There's another thing I'd like to mention, because I saw some comments on Facebook where someone in America again said, "You were in my town, I didn't know. How could I miss that?" I want to reiterate, and I'm going to say it 10 times in this episode, to make sure you don't miss our shows. You can track Tier on Bands in Town at bandsintown.com/tier, or better yet, sign up for our newsletter at tier.fo. That way you will be notified when we play near you by Bands in Town, or when we play anywhere by our newsletter. So very sad to see that we miss some people on the tour, but all we can do is remind people again and again how to avoid that.
And we did on this tour remind them again and again and again.
Yeah.
Oh God, we reminded them of it. But I don't mind. I like making those videos, and I like that people say that they know only through Facebook that we were going to play. Although most people I asked actually had our show dates from our newsletter, which is the safest way to make sure you're up to date.
And it's not just for tour dates. I mean, we're planning on bringing new merch through the newsletters as well. Just let you know with new ideas
exactly
what we're coming up
anything
with.
that happens.
It's the best way to get the most information from the band.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Hans.
We promise we will not spam you with irrelevant updates and news. It will all be very important stuff.
Super important.
Yes.
Well said. Hear, hear.
Here and there.
So we have some future shows coming up, and there are not many at the moment, but there will be more. As it looks at the moment, our next show is at Voxbot on the 28th of June in the Faroe Islands in Tórshavn. Voxbot is a festival. It's not a metal festival, but they have at least one metal band every time. Then we play at Rockhards in Ballenstedt, Germany on the 2nd of July. And then we have the Sun and Thunder Festival in Spain in Fuengirola on the 18th of July. We have more festivals already booked that we cannot announce yet, and more festivals will be booked hopefully and announced as well very soon. So three upcoming shows. I'd like to have 30 or more, but that's what we have at the moment. I always find it good to have something on the calendar to look forward to, and I feel very restless when there's nothing on the calendar. I'm not sure how you guys feel about it.
Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't mind a tour again.
Yeah, me too. But the 4 months last year, September, October, November, December, I mean, even with the outlook on these two massive tours we just had, it felt horrible. You know, even with all those dates to look forward to, if there's not at least one every now and then, it really takes out the joy of life, you know, because you feel like, okay, what's happening here? Why not? And yeah, I know I shouldn't be impatient. I shouldn't be greedy, but sometimes it's really like
we need time for other stuff now and then, such as songwriting and recording and whatnot.
Yes,
but
yes, of course.
4 months between festivals or anything is too long.
Sorry.
Something else that happened since the last Cheercast is that Gunnar released another single on his solo project Guns.
Yeah.
How's that going?
I don't know.
You're not checking every day on your listener numbers?
No. I get the feeling that I got really good reviews from everything, so that's all good. But I have the feeling that people are more interested in getting the whole album, buying the stuff.
I think that's probably right. Yes.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna focus on now is just get the damn thing out.
Yeah.
So I'll probably send one or two more out into circulation, but
yeah.
So
the single is All About Me, the second single from Guns, and streaming on all streaming platforms. All About Me, Guns.
Yeah, I heard I had some pretty good comments from fans, Tear fans.
Yeah, that's good.
Some who were pretty addicted to that song, All About Me. So that's good, I guess. I don't know.
It is more of that.
So it's hard to say, but I'm not very good at this media stuff. I need to get way better at it. So, yeah.
Yeah, that it's what the music business has become nowadays. You have to do your own
it's
promotion
not a record
on your
company.
own social media.
Yeah, it's not a record company that takes you along now.
It isn't. If you don't do your own social media, then there's not much they can do for you unless they have $1 million to spend on it. Like if you are, I don't know, Metallica, who gets a contract with a new record label, I think they will put some money aside for that. But for bands our size, we have to do it ourselves, which I don't mind. I like doing social media.
Yeah, I'm not so much into that, but I probably have to suck it up.
Yeah, but I mean, for a new project or a new band, it's really not that easy to get the numbers going. I mean, even with the occasional show here and there, or even with the tour, it's really difficult to get the first 5,000-10,000 followers.
And I'm not too worried about it, because I think or it's just the thought I have that number will jump all of a sudden. It's not going to be a gradual incline.
Mm-hmm.
The more people that slowly get to know about the product, and then
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not sure I got that. You think when people hear about the product, suddenly it will jump very high?
I suspect if they like it, yeah. I think it will.
I think that is a dangerous hope to have.
Get me right, but
I don't want to discourage you, but we've been doing this for 25 years, and look where we are. And
I think there's gonna be some kind of jump in it.
I hope so. I hope so. But it's much more realistic to expect it to be a long, hard uphill struggle until suddenly you look back and see that you really got somewhere. But it didn't happen by itself or suddenly.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I'm. That's what I think. Also, it's gonna take a long time.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what happens.
Absolutely, go for it, man. Go for it. Knock yourself out.
Not too worried about it.
We're not the worrying kind of guys, to say the least, or else you simply wouldn't be in this band. None of us.
I just think it's fun to at
Absolutely.
least do something else also.
It adds meaning to life.
Yes.
So, but by the way, we have a birthday child today.
How could we forget?
Yeah. Who can it be?
It wasn't. My birthday was on the 21st of February in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was very nice.
Albuquerque.
Albuquerque.
Not you. It's not
someone who likes Albuquerque.
Is it
It's
me?
all
No.
It's all about me.
Yeah.
It is
It's all
Hans
about you.
Hammer. Happy birthday, man. 30 years
Thank
old,
you.
right?
Birthday.
Thank you, fine sirs.
How are you gonna spend your birthday? How does it feel?
Today, I don't know. It's weird. 30. But it feels the same. Actually, it feels great after being on tour and for 2 months. just sit in peace. But yeah, I don't think too much about it. I will have some nice food tonight at a good restaurant, and that's that. Then I'll have a smaller party in 2 weeks, which one exclusive member from Tier is joining. Yes.
Yes, he
Happy
is. Looking forward to it,
you're
man.
going to Denmark to Hans's birthday.
I am.
Yes.
Gunnar, it appears only the the VIPs of this band get invited. 'Cause I didn't get an invitation. Did you, Gunnar?
Well,
I
I kind of did.
Oh, really? Wow! This is going interesting ways.
It's just that, the flight tickets from the Faroes are so expensive, it doesn't make sense.
I don't care if it's expensive. If it's your birthday.
You guys are obviously very welcome anytime.
Thanks. No, I don't think I can afford that.
I'm actually supposed to go to Denmark pretty soon. Visit my daughters and actually
Swing by Odense.
Swing by Odense and do some new gun stuff. So
yeah,
that was the plan. So we'll see.
All right, guys, we have a lot of questions from our dear supporters on Patreon.
Let's hear them.
If you support us on Patreon, we will answer your questions right here on the Tiercast. So, going now, Sandra Schmidt has 3 questions. First one is, I wonder about what the band actually hears on stage. It must be incredibly loud. How do in-ear thingies work? Do they cancel out the surrounding sounds? We have something called in-ear monitor. That means we have an earpiece directly in both ears through which we hear our instruments and the other guys' instruments, and those earpieces are made to block out the most sound possible. They don't block out everything, not properly. There's no noise cancellation in them. They're just massive pieces, and you hear what you ask the sound guy to hear, and that's it. So it's usually not very loud on stage, unless you have a tiny stage where you can't get too far away from the drums. Then everything turns quite loud and muddled. But if you're on a big stage, like we were on the European part, it's nice and comfortable, actually.
Of course, you have to add that these in-ears, like the ear monitors, are connected to a so-called belt pack, which is a receiver unit that gets all the whole mix you're asking for from our console, through our sound engineer. So we have a quite well-established system now. I mean, it took us years to get there, to make it, really more or less secure and stable. But now it's just we don't really need sound checks anymore. At the beginning of the tour, once or twice maybe, or if there is a bigger issue. But usually it's just very fast and very convenient. So we can just say what we want to listen to or what we want to hear through in-ears.
Yeah,
very nice.
And stuff. It's not very loud. So
Sometimes I even start too quiet when I put too low volume before going on stage, and first song it's really hard to get into it because it's too quiet.
Also,
so there's a volume button. Maybe we should explain on the receiver belt pack, so you can turn your own volume, the master volume of everything, up and down. So you have that control. Apart from that, you need to contact the sound guy to change the ratio of your sounds.
What we should do... Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, it's just the master volume. It kind of you control the master volume. It's all about the sound you hear around you. You make it connect. So,
and what I think we should add at some point is like 1 or 2 microphones to hear the crowd, because I actually sometimes the crowd is just too low, and I like to get the response from the crowd. And
the standard way for bands who don't use in-ear is to have a wedge, they call it, in front of you. It's those boxes that stand in front of the musicians, and there are loudspeakers in there, and the band members can hear themselves through that. But of course, that sound goes all over the stage, and you get a very muddled sound because you get feedbacks. For example, when the sound goes from the speaker right into the microphone, and the speaker is very close to the microphone. So there are limits to how good a sound you can get with wedges, and you also have to stand in the right spot all the time to hear a good sound. What I was getting at, I lost my train of thought.
I was talking
you
about
were saying, Thaddeus?
I was talking about the listening to the crowd, so crowd microphone.
Yes, exactly. And one issue when you go from wedges to in-ear monitors is that you feel very distant from your surroundings. You get this very closed in and cut off feeling, and it takes some getting used to. And as you say, Thaddeus, one way around that would be simply to have microphones pointed at the audience, so you can hear like the general noise of the audience, and it would reconnect you in the right direction. And that's a good idea.
And
definitely.
That's something for the future. We need more channels for that.
Yeah.
So
to explain for people who are not used to being on stage, I mean the connection you have with the crowd is very important to get the dynamic of the concert, of the show flowing. You know, if you're cut off, then and you're staying as Hera said,
to precise the audio connection. So we have the visual. You can always look at the crowd.
Yes, of course.
You see their mouths open and you see them jumping. But sometimes you simply don't hear anything what they're saying or shouting. So having the audio connection as well is
I'm many times
nice.
surprised because when I sing, when I open my mouth, it leaks a little bit. And then suddenly I hear the crowd going absolutely bananas. But before that, I hear nothing. So it's weird.
We have these opto gates, it's called, on the microphone. So when you leave your microphone, it goes off completely so that it's more silent and you have a clearer sound on stage. So once you stand in front of the microphone, there's a sensor that opens the sound in the microphone, and suddenly you hear your surroundings a bit better. And sometimes you just hear the audience roaring through, especially on small stages where everything is pretty close.
Yeah.
That's the experience of standing on stage. Sandra Smith has 2 more questions. The next one is, as touring musicians, you guys probably don't have time for pets, or do you? If you were at home, what animal would you want to share your home with? Are you a dog, cat, rabbit, or dragon person? I have no pets myself. I am absolutely a cat person.
I have a cat, and I'm a cat person. I used to have a dog as well.
Lulu.
Lulu.
Oh, she was sweet. Your cat is lovely too, by the way. Fantastic cat. Love it.
Yeah, I am a big dog person. I love dogs.
Big dogs?
They are yes, but all dogs. They are the joy of life. Oh, I love dogs. It's just I can't put it into words. And I like to say I have a dog, but I had to my sister and her family had to adopt my dog, unfortunately, because I could not bring it with me on tour or to Denmark.
This is a heartbreaking story, Hans.
It is. Now I only have a photo of it on the wall.
But you get to see it every time you are in the Faroes.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And it's a wonderful dog.
It is. It helped produce and record Gunnar's album.
Yeah.
It sat through the whole process, hundreds of hours.
I grew up with horses and cats, and I always loved to have horses around, and I used to have one until autumn 22. My gelding, he was 31 years old when he died, and we were in Australia on tour when he passed. So yeah, that was pretty recent. But yeah, it's, it's quite an expensive hobby to say the least.
Yeah.
But I always love to work with horses. But
Yeah,
of course,
I had some experience with horses as well when I lived in Denmark. We had horses as well.
Yeah.
What a wonderful creature, but holy shit, it is expensive.
Yes. But incredible experience.
Yeah.
Sandra Schmidt has one last question for Tad, this one. She says, on our recent trip to Hungary, we noticed some runes or rune-like symbols on street signs under the name of the town. Drove past too quickly to take a picture, unfortunately. What are these Nordic letters doing in Hungary?
Yeah, well, those are actually not Nordic letters. In Hungarian, it's called rovás írás. It's some kind of runic script or Old Hungarian script. It reads from right to left, by the way. It's, some people say that it's a way older script than the Nordic runes or Scandinavian runes, but there are mixed theories about that. What we know so far is that that there are some archaeological finds on the area where the Hungarian tribes came from and arrived into the Carpathian Basin. So between Hungary nowadays, or the Carpathian Basin, and stretching all the way to the Ural mountains in Russia, on that stretch, so to say, you find here and there these artifacts with Old Hungarian script on it. And
but why put it on street signs? Does anyone read this?
Well, yeah, it's nowadays, especially with the conservative or more and more nationalist government in Hungary, they started to try to revive it and to.
So this is a recent thing.
Yeah.
But I see.
Just they just put up the name of the villages or the name of the settlements in this old runic script there below the Latin script, just to have it more traditional, so to say.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I was not aware of that. Next question comes from Joe Fleischer. What do you remember about Baltimore or Greensboro last year? Both were unforgettable to me. Greensboro was the last show.
I actually remember both quite well.
I remember Greensboro.
Baltimore
was the last
was
one,
the
right?
very first one. Greensboro, the very last one of
Yeah.
last
I remember the last
year's
show pretty
tour.
well.
Yeah, I remember Baltimore.
Yeah, well, the first show of a tour is always quite stressful. We got the drums on that day from a drum shop, and we got tons of merch that had to be accounted for, and it was pretty much a shit show, but it was a good
It
show.
was. We also had to secure the acoustic instruments, and that was pretty damn hectic, I remember.
Yes.
On this tour in February, we got very good help from our friends in Ether Realms, so it was much less stressful. thanks to the guys of Either Realm. But yeah, the first day on last year was pretty hectic. I remember.
I remember. I remember we got these quite, well, not obscure, but very, very interesting Greensboro T-shirts from somebody, from a fan. And I still have a sleeveless that says, "I kind of like Greensboro."
I'm not sure I got one.
There were, I think, 4 of them. Like one yellow, one green.
Ah, yeah, I remember. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, glad that Joe Fleischer thinks the shows were unforgettable. Very glad. Matt Frank asks, did Todd and Hans endure any sort of hazing upon first joining Tyr? Now, hazing would be like bullying or fun making. I suppose I should leave that to Todd and Hans to answer.
I don't think so. Not really.
Well, not real hazing, no. But I remember that my first 2 shows with you guys in 2016, August 2016, were in the Baltics, in Estonia and in Lithuania. And we never met before. We never had a rehearsal. We only met in Estonia the day before the first show day. And I had to prepare 23 songs for those shows. And you were...
Very reasonable.
You didn't have to do anything, Tadeusz. You volunteered for this.
Yes, I know. I'm just talking about my experiences. And years later, you actually told me that you were like, yeah, let us just throw him into the deep water and see what happens. I mean, it's all got to be his fault if he fucks up. And if not, then it's got to be nice.
We'd been doing it that way for years, well, since we started. And yeah, like I said, Gunnar, we're not worried kind of people.
No.
Maybe a bit too little worried, but nor are you, Tad. So
no. It's fine. That's
fine. The kind of thing you do when you're an extremely unworried person.
Yeah, I was a bit more stressful back then, but I mean that was almost 10 years ago, and being in this band really helped me change my perspective on things. So I really got more laid back. So thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Well, it comes back to that we were talking about pre-production on the European tour. Well, before this, we have not really ever, well, not often done a pre-production before a tour. We just kind of said, we play these and these songs and let's see what happens.
Yeah, well, when we started the band, like back, 25 years ago, we were rehearsing all the time, for good reason.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that counts as pre-production. But very soon after that, we haven't been living in the same country, the whole band, for decades. And that makes pre-production pretty difficult when you're running on a very low budget. So that is mainly the reason for not having done any proper pre-productions. But yeah, now for tours like the last 2 we have made, I think we will always do a proper pre-production because it's
really necessary. And I mean it just brings us next level.
Yeah,
it does.
It works wonders.
Yeah,
especially with Hans's amazing segues.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah. Really good stuff.
So we've treated you nice, Hans, since we haven't been bullying you or putting you down for being the youngster member of the band or anything.
No, not at all.
Well, we seem like decent guys, Gunnar. After all, who would have thunk?
I got so many warnings before going in that you would be complete assholes. No, I'm just kidding.
Next question is from Jamie Howard. he writes in Danish. I'll read it in English. It says on your Wikipedia that the entire band is a member of the Pagan Society, and this is the Icelandic Pagan Society. Is it true? And if, is it true? And if so, how does your knowledge, how does it affect your songwriting? Thanks. Sorry for not speaking Faroese. Well, good on you for writing in Danish. And I can tell you that is nonsense. I'm not myself a member of any religious organization, and certainly not Asatrufili in Iceland.
I've never heard of whatever that society was.
I know what it is, but I'm not a member either. So
No.
that is horse crap.
It is.
Horse maneuver.
Yes.
Prize-winning horse manure. Andrew Seaton asks, with many bands recently skipping places like Florida and Seattle, Portland and Vancouver area, I've noticed you guys are always great about making sure you hit them up. And this year you even did a second tour to make sure you get all the missed ones. Every band handles it differently, so as far as tour goes, what is your process of deciding which areas to visit? I can tell you, Andrew, it is very, very little we can do about it. We just tell our booking team that we want to go on tour, and that's it. Where we go precisely depends on which connections those guys have, and we have zero influence on that. All we can do is say yes or no to tours. If we told our team we want to go to this and this city and this and that country, you know, it's a non-starter. That is just not how shows and tours are made, unfortunately. So everything we have done recently is down to the connections of our US booker, and tours are limited by usually how long the crew has time to stay on the tour, and how many shows pay how much, you know, to make it feasible. And there are many bands who are you know, part-time musicians, so they have other jobs to go home to. We don't have that, so we as a band could stay on tour indefinitely. Theoretically, we could, but there's no crew that could stay on tour indefinitely. They all have other things to do. So that was what limited the last year's run in the US also. This second round was arranged because we already had the visas and we wanted to go to some of the cities we didn't make last time. So it was cheaper to go for a second run with like we already talked about, with a cheaper bus and a lower production. So that's what we did. Precisely where we went, we had, I think I got one question from our booker. Do you want to revisit this town, or would you rather take this riskier show on a different town? I think it was somewhere in California. And I said, let's not revisit any town, because this is meant to reach other people that couldn't come to our last tour. So that's not really up to us at all. Why can't I scroll here? Kathy asks, there were fabulous setlist changes in part 2. How did you decide which songs to add and which to remove? Well, that is very simple. Our setlist is decided by popular vote on our official Facebook page group. The Great Heathen Army of Tyr. It's a private group. You have to request to join, and you have to answer the questions to be approved. And once you're in, you can vote like anyone else in the group on which songs you would like to hear us play live. And for the second round of the Battle Ballads tour in the US, we removed the 3 least popular songs and added the 3 next songs on the list, and that was all. So we played generally what people want to hear, and it's pretty easy to decide, because I just look up the list. Kathy asks, how's the new album coming?
Well,
I don't know what to say. I've been on tour for 2 months. I planned to do some work, but it just wasn't that easy. It's not easy to work in a tiny bus when you're jumping around and sitting in midair most of the time.
I found it very hard to believe here that it was impossible to work on songs on tour. So I bought an interface and a travel setup, brought my laptop across the whole world, and it was complete waste of time, and I'll never ever do it again.
Yeah, that is. I did it many times. Even after having been on tour many times, I brought my recording equipment with me, thinking that, oh, come on, this time I'll just do it properly. But no, there are too many distractions and too little time on tour. You cannot work unless you have a full studio setup in your bus, and that is very expensive, and we don't have that. And of course, the bus has to stand still while you're working. It's impossible to work while the bus is moving.
And too bad internet as well. So
that too.
Yeah.
Well, there was
so having yeah, go ahead.
The first 4 venues in Europe, very nice venues, big backstage, nice internet, everything was very good. I thought this will be no problem at all. And I told Gunnar, yeah, let's just wait a few days, then we'll start, no need to rush things. This is gonna work out great. And then we tried on the 4th day, and it was actually quite good. But on the 5th, it started going downhill. Not the best backstage on that day, and then slowly you start getting it's tiring to set up and take down every day, finding a spot, and then there's a lot of people, a lot of distractions that come along. So it's better to just relax, go look around the city or something.
So with all those excuses off our shoulders,
Yes.
the answer is the album has not been moving for the last 2 months.
But
we
have collected material, at least.
Let's put it this way, we are feeling very inspired to make some great work.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we have the basic ideas. It's a question of sitting down and going to work. And the album will be coming along nicely very soon. Yes, thank you very much. Kathy has a truckload of questions. Her next question is, your show was tight as hell. What is your rehearsal regiment when you're preparing for a tour? Well, like we mentioned earlier, we do pre-production. That means we rehearse together for at least a few days before the tour. And this time we rehearsed in Budapest, in Tadeus's rehearsal room. And Hans did a lot of nice pre-production for the backtrack with the segues between the songs. And sorry, the different soundscapes that lead from one song to the next. And apart from that, you just practice your own lines, memorize the lyrics, practice solos and rhythm parts.
Yeah, we do some homework before we arrive in pre-production.
It was a little bit more difficult this time because it was around Christmas time, so there was a lot of
distractions.
Family time, distractions, and so I was a little bit. I was not as prepared as I'd like to be when the tour started, to be honest. There was about 6-8 shows before I felt quite comfortable with the playing. But that's good when you have 49 shows, then there were still 41 left at that time.
Yeah.
Technically speaking, it was 68 shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, right. She asks us next question, do you get any say as to the cities you go to on tour? We already talked about that. We get hardly any say where we go. Then Kathy has a question for each of you. She says, do you have a favorite city in the US to play or visit? And do you have any cities you are hoping for on the next tour? My favorite cities will be the ones in the southwest, the southernmost cities of California, and then New Mexico and Texas and all that. Yeah, maybe not that far in, but Albuquerque, Phoenix, Arizona. I have to stress, after sunset. I really like those cities. Before, if I was to live there, I would be nocturnal and wake up around sunset. It is the loveliest atmosphere in those cities, in that area, after sunset. And hoping for cities on the next tour. We hope to go everywhere, honestly. It's always nice to visit our favorite places, like in my case, Phoenix and that area, and always nice to go to LA. Yeah, you gentlemen.
Well, we got a new place on this tour. It was Corpus Christi for me. What a wonderful place. And Albuquerque and Phoenix. That is my favorites.
My favorite is still Manhattan in New York. That was a highlight. Like, I still dream of going back there. This time we went to Brooklyn. Maybe it was also the weather. It was very cold and gray. It wasn't the same experience. But other than that, Albuquerque was awesome. Really awesome. Especially during the day. It got a bit chaotic.
And we got to see the house of Walter White.
Yes.
He's a fictitious person. It's not actually his house.
Yeah, but we saw the lady who actually owns the house. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we
saw Pigman's house as well.
Yes.
And
a few other locations when driving through the city. It was awesome driving through the city and seeing the mountains in the background and the desert. Especially driving in the morning. I went up like 3 hours before arriving in Albuquerque. It was like being at the scenes where they go with their RV to cook. It was fucking phenomenal. Beautiful. Yes?
I have to agree. New Mexico, Arizona, phenomenal places. Utah, also beautiful scenery.
Yeah.
Denver, I really like Denver, Colorado, because of the mountains as well. Where I would love to go, I think we never played in Montana. I think we never played in Maine. That would be nice as well.
I think actually we have played in Montana.
Okay, yeah, maybe not with me then.
Billings.
Alaska would be awesome.
Oh, yeah, that would be.
And of course, it's not a US city, but it's a North American city, and I really like it. It's Montreal. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Let me add Boise, Idaho.
Oh, yes.
Lovely place.
Oh, yeah.
The Shredder!
Yeah. Kathy asks yet another question. Here, you look fantastic. What's your secret? My secret is don't smoke, don't drink, and have good genes. The first and the second you can do something about. The third has absolutely nothing you can do anything about. So just live life and be happy. You will all look great. Thank you. Kathy asks Guns, you look so happy when you're on stage and have such amazing stage presence. What drives that exuberance?
Crack.
Kathy does, or me?
Kathy.
You lovely people out there, that's what drives me. So it's very simple. You go on stage and you see that people react positively to what you are presenting to them. And yeah, it's a good feeling. It's back and forth. I love it. It's very gratifying for some weird reason. So I can't help it. It's completely automatic.
I can confirm that. The very first time we played, you were like that already.
Yeah, well,
when you were 17 or less, even 15 maybe.
I think I was 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kathy asks Thaddeus, when you play on stage, it looks like you're in another realm. Can you share what your feelings experience? Well, can you share what you feel or experience while playing?
Yeah, another realm. That's quite precise.
Ether realm.
Another realm.
Yes, ether realm this time.
And yeah, I mean, it always depends on how, you know, how good the connection with the band is, with the crowd. But sometimes it when I catch the flow, it really feels as if I'm thrown back 1,000 years, and it feels like being in a trance on a battlefield and just going forth. And yeah.
Wow.
It's beautiful, really.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I'm speechless. I didn't know you went through that every time we played.
No, no, it does not happen all the time, but sometimes.
Okay.
It's nice.
Yeah, well, I agree with her. You really look like you're transfixed. Maybe we all do to some degree. Kathy has a final question. Hans, I remember you saying you're going to quit smoking last year. How's that going?
Jeez. It's not going at all. I have reconsidered.
So, you're not going to quit smoking at all? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's hard, man. If ever you need some mental support, I'm here for you, man.
Aren't you gonna try this?
If our next album sells 100 million copies, I probably. Or one song gets 100 million streams.
Put that on us.
I most
Take
definitely
responsibility, man. Don't put it on us.
When we earn so much that I can afford buying a Ferrari, then I will definitely quit smoking.
All right. That's where it's at. At least you're being very honest. It's your right to smoke anything you like.
I don't know.
No, it's not easy.
Weren't you gonna try this spray can, nicotine something?
Yeah, I think I will try it, and yeah, you know, I don't want to stand in public every other day and say I'm gonna plan to do this and that, and just sound like forever.
I will say, Kathy was much nicer to us with her questions than to you. That was that came out of left field.
Yeah, but she's not the only American. Americans seem very fixated on my smoking habits.
Yeah.
He's definitely not the only one.
Let's go to the next question. Sorry to put you on the spot. Michael Sean Gary asks, I was going to ask at the meet and greet, but forgot. What are the very last two lyric lines in the outro of The Lay of Thrym, after, in the end, the giant was slain? Those lines are not in the official lyrics. We put them on as a joke in studio, and they say, Odin's oldest son is quite a guy. Make him dress a drag, and you'll die. It refers to the story of Thrym and the stealing of the hammer of Thor, and how Thor got it back. And I won't go into details here, but Thor and some other guys have to dress up as women to sneak in to get the hammer back. So that's that. Raymond Ortega asks, absolutely elated to see you in Oklahoma City. Did you enjoy the bottles of mead I got you? Safe travels, brothers. Thank you, Raymond. I don't drink.
I don't drink.
And I don't drink.
Thaddeus, did you try any of the mead?
Yes, very nice. Very nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Raymond.
I saw him
nice
enjoy it very much. And I liked seeing him enjoy it.
People bring us all kinds of stuff, and it's very nice and generous of people. But maybe sometimes I like to remind people that we are very, very limited in what we can transport with us when we fly. So yeah, a bottle of mead is nice. You know, it's gone after you drink it. But apart from that, you know, we've been given paintings and whatnot that there's absolutely no chance we can take with us. So much as we appreciate it, please bring us stuff that is very small or can be disposed of before we travel home. Meat, I suppose, Thaddeus, is very much appreciated.
If I'm going to be honest here, I'm not a big fan of mead, though.
What?
Don't bring us drinks. We're not that much of the booze train anymore. So
yeah, I used to like mead when I was drinking, but like I said, I don't drink anymore. And yeah, when you're on tour, you get enough alcohol. It's on your rider, and they bring you beer and alcohol for every show if you ask for it. And you really don't need more alcohol. It's the last thing you should bring us. If you want to bring us anything, I would say clean socks and clean underwear are the most appreciated things.
Yeah, socks. On the US tour last year, we got socks, and it was fucking amazing. I had clean new socks every day.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. Absolutely.
Last question is from Johan Peter Kluwer Dam. And he says, not to make you show your hand, but is there any kveje or totter that you have tried to make a song out of, but you just could not make work? Yeah, there are quite a few I've been working on off and on, and I'm not sure I should mention any. I'm not sure I would remember even. I go through that the blue book of the collection of Harry's melodies. By what's her name? Oh, I forgot the name of the nice lady. It's a huge book in blue, and it's the collection of the collected works of all Faroese traditional melodies ever recorded. And I go through it every now and then, just see what there is and see if I get any cool ideas from anything. And there are a few ballads that I want to make songs of in the future. I just didn't make it work yet. So sometimes it's very difficult and technical to make it into a listenable modern song. So yeah, there are quite a few, and I'm not going to mention any here if you don't mind. That concludes the questions from the patrons. I shall proceed to the end notes, unless you gentlemen have anything to add to this podcast.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Please hit the thumbs up on this video, dear viewer or dear listener. It really helps us get on top of the algorithm. You can find us on Instagram at tier_official. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube as Tier Band. We are on TikTok even as @TierFaro. Track us, I say again, on bandsintown.com/tier so that you don't miss our shows when we play in your area. Please listen to our music on your favorite streaming platform or right here on YouTube. Well, I say here on YouTube. We put this first and foremost on YouTube, but also elsewhere. Like I said, our YouTube channel is Tier Band and all our music is there. At tier.fo, you can find our web shop where you can order our CDs, LPs, our merch, and you can sign up for our newsletter. If you want to ask us questions directly, you can sign up at patreon.com/tierband, and we will answer your question right here on a future Tiercast. Thank you all, and I hope to have you back here for Tiercast 39 very soon. Take care and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Seco.